What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another AEW Dynamite video. Now, I know I didn't do an Impact video yesterday, or a Hard to Kill video at the weekend. Things are a little bit mad. My girlfriend is moving into a new flat, so she's been sort of coming here, because the flat's near mine. We've been moving stuff from hers to mine first, and then up, and it's just been very fucking hectic the past few days. But, part 2 of the little series, that was part 1 was the interview with Ross from Cultaholic, will be out soon, hopefully tomorrow, the next couple of days, just depends on when I can get things rolling. My thoughts on the Impact shows that have just been, thought they were both absolutely fantastic. Hard to Kill is incredible, and the X Division Triple Threat match in the main event, check them out. Also, Fire and Flame are tag champs. What more could we want? Anyway, let's just crack on with the AEW review, and I've realised I forgot to put on my glasses, so I can't read my notes because they're quite far away. 1 second. So the show opened with the Dark Order walking to the ring with -1, of course, Brody Lee's oldest son, Brody Jr. Because it was his birthday recently, so they had a big cake there. And then Chaos Project come out and they say, we're here to ruin your birthday. Bad men. So the match is Chaos Project and the Hybrid 2 versus Beaver Boys, Colt Cabana and Hangman Page. But Hangman Page isn't with the Dark Order. So a big brawl breaks out, TH2 run out, Colt Cabana and Silver and Reynolds are all fighting, and then Hangman's music's hit and he just runs out to the ramp, just kind of looks around and hits a crossbody off the ramp onto the floor on everyone, and then the match is underway. Sorry, I forgot to mention, of course everyone sung Happy Birthday to Brody Jr. with the customary, a 1, a 2, a skiddly diddly do from Big John Silver, my favourite professional wrestler in the whole wide world. Overall the match was quite quick but very, very good. The finishing sequence came when the Beaver Boys hit their sort of big combo. It ends with the stunner and the German suplex, but after Reynolds hit the stunner, Hangman flipped in for a buckshot. Silver goes over with the German from the buckshot, and they pick up the win. After the match, of course, Adam Page said he would give an answer if he wants to join the Dark Order or not. And John Silver, as we know, he gets nervous around Adam Page. And he's like, Adam, I think you're really cool and really handsome, and I love you, and I think you're really cool and really handsome. And then he gets down on one knee and proposes to him to join the Dark Order. But Hangman unfortunately says no. But the Dark Order have prepared a thing on the Tron that says he said yes, and there's confetti and a conga line. The Stu and Grayson just chase up the ramp, like kicking them on their way as they go out. They're like, no, he did fucking John. It was amazing. And Hangman then walked up, grabbed the bottle of whiskey that they'd got for the celebration, and walked down the heel tunnel. He walked down the heel's tunnel. Oh, what a bad man. What a bad bastard. We then go backstage with Alex Marvez interviewing Chris Jericho and MJF, talking about the Inner Circle Tag Team Challenge in the main event. And both men kind of say, we didn't want it to come to this. This might cause division. This might pull the Inner Circle apart. But Chris Jericho reassures Max and says, no matter who wins, the Inner Circle will be behind them 100%. So, that'll need to wait and see. Tony Schiavone's in the ring next, and he introduces Sting, and he introduces Darby Allin. And Sting has something to say to Darby, and Sting says, look, I see a lot of myself in you. Last week I didn't want to get involved, but Team Taz were going to get involved, so I did the right thing. And then Team Taz just shows up on the Tron, all of them there. 5 of them? Starks, Hook, Taz, Cage, Hobbs. Yeah, the 5 of them. All there on screen. Taz is brilliant, by the way. He just cuts this amazing promo about how Sting couldn't stay out of their business. So now they're going to have to get nasty and they're going to take it to the streets. And Darby Allin accepts the challenge, so maybe there'll be a street fight between Starks or Hobbs and Darby Allin, maybe. I don't know, but I'm excited. It does make me nervous though that Sting comes out in his gear every week, because he's probably going to have a match. I'd like to see him wrestle Taz. Just fucking have Taz fucking suplex him around the place. It'd be unreal. We then cut to a video from earlier in the day where the Young Bucks go to Kenny Omega's house, and they walk in, Nakazawa's there, and they take him around the corner and they're like, did you see what this is? They go around, there's an oil painting of Kenny Omega and Don Callis shirtless with all the abs in the world. And then Callis comes in and he starts talking to him and goes, how long have you guys been Kenny's friend? 12 years, right. Well, look, here's a check. This is a thank you for your 12 years of service. Oh, you made this much money last week, I forgot. You guys sell a lot of merch. Well, here's another check. 12 years of friendship, but you're going to have to end it. Because Kenny, he was hanging around with the wrong people for quite a while. Bad influences on him. And I'm just here to make sure that he is the best he can be. And then they proceed to beat the shit out of Don Callis. Also, Alex Marvez and the cameraman get thrown in the dungeon, but the camera's left running, and they just battled Don Callis. Cody Rhodes then had a match with Pretty Peter Avalon, and Cody said he was going to beat Peter in under a minute. The bell rings, Pretty Peter runs in for a clothesline, it's ducked, and a big crossroads is hit. But before he can make the cover, Jade Cargill's music hits, and out she comes to stand on the ramp and just distract him. Distract the ref as well. Pretty Peter hits a big old low blow and then starts working Cody's knee. Before the bell, actually, Tony Schiavone said that since the new year, Cody Rhodes has put on 19 pounds of muscle, which is outrageous. But anyway, Avalon works the knee throughout a lot of the match. It's back and forth towards the end, and Cody locks in a figure four. Avalon spins it round. Obviously, as you know, that reverses the pressure in professional wrestling. But Cody manages to spin it back round. No man is willing to give up. But then, Cody looks like he's going to slap Pretty Peter in his pretty little face, and he taps out because he doesn't want to get hit in the face, and you've got to respect it. This match was fun. It showed Peter Avalon in a much better light. Obviously, he went through that massive losing streak last year, did Librarian and stuff like that. And you know, he is really good. I really like Peter Avalon, and I think this was the right thing to do. Gets his character over, gives Cody, a win, good match, and furthers the story with Shaq. Of course, next week it was announced that Cody will finally address the comments that Shaq made 1 week before Beach Break, which will probably be where they'll put it, because if you put it on pay-per-view, you kind of run the risk of alienating the people who just want to tune in and watch Shaq wrestle. But now, because they do these big sort of pay-per-view quality Dynamites, you can put them on TV for free, and people can go, oh, did you hear Shaquille O'Neal's wrestling tonight? Yeah, let's watch it. Oh, who's Jungle Boy? Who are FTR? Who's Eddie Kingston? As well, I have a very special video planned for my Beach Break review. So when that happens, if that is when Cody wrestles Shaq, whatever show Cody wrestles Shaq on, I've got a very special video planned. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We then cut backstage to FTR in their locker room with Tully Blanchard talking about how they're the best tag team in the world when Jurassic Express burst in. And a little fight kind of breaks out. And, words are thrown back and forth, and in the end, it's set up for next week. We're going to be getting a Dax Harwood versus Jungle Boy in a singles match, and that's going to be very, very good. Up next, John Moxley was taking part in his first match since Winter is Coming wrestling Nick Comoroto, who is a big, big, big caveman. Man, I guess is the only way to put it. The match was fun. I was expecting, a typical Moxley squash, but Nick Comoroto's a big dude. Was able to stick with a lot of Moxley's offense. At one point Mox goes for that big lariat that he always hits to kill people, and he just stiffs it. So he just drops under, locks in a sleeper hold, and chokes him out in around about 4 minutes. Both men look really, really good. Of course, Mox's first match back, so it was good to see him back wrestling and getting a win. And he cut a promo after about how no one is safe because he's John Moxley and he's mental. I go backstage with Alex Marvez interviewing Eddie Kingston. He's got his family there with him, and Kingston pretty much just says that next week he's wrestling Lance Archer. Then Archer comes up and they have a little square off and Eddie leaves. But it sets up a match next week, which I'm very excited for. Alex Marvez then follows Kenny Omega into his dressing room where Don Callis is, and Kenny sees that Callis has been barred by the Young Bucks, and he's not too happy. So I really don't know where they're going with this, because there was the two sweethearts around the world, and now the Bucks are kind of face again, but they did that, they joined in, I don't know, but hopefully it's resolved soon. I really hope it's resolved soon. We then have a really good match, a 6-man tag with the Hardy Party, who is obviously Matt Hardy, and the number one contender for the Impact Tag Team Championships, Private Party, wrestling Top Flight and Matt Sydal. And this match was really great, just a lot of fun, high flying, high paced, just fast wrestling is the only way to describe it. It was really, really good. All 6 men sharing amazing chemistry. A lot of highlights, including at one point Private Party went for the silly string. Darius catches Isaiah Cassidy's legs. Dante runs up, takes Marquand off the apron, runs right back, and they hit the world's greatest tag teams leapfrog move. In the end, though, as they're setting it up for, I think it's Dante and Marquand are on the top rope, and Matt Hardy's distracting the ref. Isaiah Cassidy comes up with a chair into the ribs of Dante Martin, falls down, big ol' shooting star from Marquand for the win. And after the match, Private Party and Matt Hardy turned heel. They just jumped the 3 of them after the bell, and they're now a heel team going over to Impact to wrestle a heel team. But I think it works for Dynamite. I think in Impact, the whole face-heel dynamic with the Invasion is sort of off, because it just depends what show you're watching. The same way that Tony Khan and Jerry Lynn were heels by distracting Chris Sabin to help a Private Party get the win. I think it's Chris Sabin, or it might be James Storm. I realised, by the way, when that match was announced, so obviously Alex Shelley's not, he wasn't at Hirsch Kill, and he's not at these tapings. I think probably someone, because he is a physical therapist as well. He probably had a patient who had COVID or was in contact with someone who had COVID, so I was just miss these tapings for safety. And I realised Chris Sabin and James Storm, who in my eyes is now a member of the Motor City Machine Guns, because he's teamed with Sabin a couple of times now when Shelley's been hurting now for this. Just like a Teenage Bottle Rocket logo on his cowboy hat and his boots, and we're fine. But I realised that match was meant to be Private Party and the Motor City Machine Guns, and I'm not happy. But yeah, Private Party turned heel, and it was a really, really good match. I'm excited to see what happens going forward for them. MJF is then backstage going into the Inner Circle's locker room to talk to them, and he's like, look, no matter what happens tonight, we're all still friends. Sammy's not having any of it. He sort of talks Sammy down. He's like, you don't need to like me, but we all listen to Chris. He's our leader, and I respect you because you can stand up for what you believe in, Sammy. See you out there. Have a good night. And I'm just really excited for that match. Like, I was really excited when it was announced. And the two sort of backstage segments really, really cemented my excitement. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Before we get to the main event, though, we had one final match, a Leila Hirsch, legit Leila Hirsch, versus Penelope Ford, who was accompanied by Charles Taylor, the butler of Miro, who was dressed like he was in The Sopranos, who is the best man of Penelope Ford's fiancé kept Sabian. And oh my goodness, Miro's fit. Miro's fit. If you've not seen it, I tweet a photo of it and put it up on my Instagram story. So go there, find it. It's amazing. He looks like he's in The Sopranos. It's so great. But the match was really good. Obviously, Leila Hirsch is one of the best wrestlers in the world, in my eyes. I think Penelope Ford's also very, very underrated, and it was just a really, really good match, really solid back and forth. Leila Hirsch had an upper hand for a lot of it, but distractions from the outside parties at one point. Charles Taylor now tripped her up because he was instructed to by Miro, which led to a little bit of a distraction. But eventually, right at the end, there was a bit of cheating, bit of interference, and Penelope grabs a pin, and Kip grabs Leila's leg so she can't kick out, and Penelope Ford picks up the win. And then, after the match, Miro gets on the mic and he goes, Charles, you're my butler. Look at your friend over there in the crowd, it's Orange Cassidy. Look at your George Michael wannabe friend and tell him I'm your best friend now. And then, brutally, Chuck Taylor says the words, Miro is my best friend. It's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking scenes. We had one final stop before the main event, and that was we just go backstage and Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers are beating the shit out of Pentagon. Just beating the shit out of him. And that set up the main event for Beach Break, which was announced in the main event. It's Kenny and the Good Brothers versus... Is it Death Triangle? It's either Death Triangle or Mox and the Lucha Bros. I can't remember. But it's going to be really, really good. Finally, we have the main event of the Inner Circle Tag Team... Tag Team Invitational? Tag Team Challenge, that's what they called it. And the winner of this match goes on to be the team that the Inner Circle put forward to challenge for the Tag Team Championships. Sammy Hagar got a shout out from the Sammy Hagar, who is in... Let me just check, because I'm not a middle-aged divorced dad, so I'm not sure off the top of my head. Van Halen, that's it. He was in Van Halen. So the match was Sammy Guevara and Jake Hager, Sammy Hagar, versus MJF and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's a bit of a tag team slut. Don't know if you heard. And Proud and Powerful. And the match was just fantastic. It was just really solid, like, wrestling. Obviously, you had the high-octane, fast-paced stuff from Proud and Powerful, but obviously you had this very, very good mix of Big Man, Little Man with Sammy and Hagar, and then obviously in the other corner you just had two of the best sports entertainers in the world, thoroughly sports entertaining me. The match starts with MJF and Sammy Guevara, who are squaring up to each other nose to nose, and then MJF runs and tags out to Chris Jericho, so the match ends up actually starting with, I believe, Jericho and Sammy, unless Sammy might have tagged out to Hagar and I've not wrote it down in my notes. The match was only around 13-14 minutes, I think, but felt so much longer because they packed so much stuff into it. At one point, I think it was Sammy and must have been Hagar, surely, were up trying to throw Ortiz off the top rope. MJF came in, pushed Hagar to the outside and picked Sammy up on his shoulders in an electric chair. Sammy goes back over, Poison Rana immediately gets up, springs up to the top rope Spanish fly onto Ortiz for a near fall. Just a lot of really, really solid near falls towards the end. There was at one point a powerbomb from MJF and a lion salt from Jericho, which wasn't very good. He didn't get the spring off the ropes that he needed, so it was a bit sad to watch. Also for a near fall. And Jericho tried to get Floyd involved, the baseball bat, and Hager saw him and just kicked the soul out of him. And then MJF grabbed the Dynamite Diamond ring, and Hager saw him again and just knocked him clean out with a right hook. Hager was amazing in this match. Hager was by far the MVP of this match. Hager looked incredible. Towards the end though, Sammy was hitting that, as I believe it's the GTF, he calls it that move. He got in an argument with T-Bar about who owns it, when some guy didn't Ring of Honor before both of them had debuted. But he hit that on Jericho, he hit that on MJF. He went to hit it on MJF again, or I might have hit it on MJF and Jericho went back to hit MJF with it. I'm not sure, but anyway, he had MJF on his shoulders, and Wardlow got on the apron, and Sammy runs over to Wardlow, hits him with Max on his shoulders, but then Max able to slink off the back and roll him up for the win. And this was quite an all-in ending, quite a Dynamite or a Nitro ending. Right at the end, as soon as he got the win, the little copyright graphic came up at the end, and Jim Ross was like, "That's all we got time for on Dynamite, folks. Make sure to go big show after this, and we'll see you next week. Bye." It was immediately, it was done, because like the main event got announced right in the middle of it when like the finishing sequence was on it. The finishing few minutes was on its way when it's like really fast paced, and they were like, "Oh, this is what's happening at Beach Break in 2 weeks. That'll be good." Anyway, back to the wrestling, because evidently something must have ran over time earlier on in the night. But I thought it was a really, really solid main event. The right team won for the story, and I'm just very excited to see, what happens going forward with Jericho and MJF. So yeah, that's my review of this week's Dynamite. Overall, I would say it was an 8 out of 10. I just, it was really good. Nothing was bad, but nothing was also like next level. Private Party's turn was great. The Cody match was really good. I really enjoyed that, and now we're finally getting some closure on when we're going to see Shaq and Cody probably next week. So fingers crossed for that. And yeah, that's all for this video. Like I say, sorry I missed the Hard to Kill and the Impact videos. Like I say, it's just life's been a little bit chaotic right now and a little bit crazy. I will have a video tomorrow and the day after for sure. And they will be my part 2 of that nostalgia thing, and a video just talking about something that happened in wrestling that I just want to talk about and get off my chest. Not sure what order they're going out in, just really depends. But like I say, that's all for now. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new, comment for any future video ideas you might want to see me talk about. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.